Have you ever wondered what's the secret sauce that some people seem to have that makes them show up so boldly and powerfully online in their content? You think to yourself, ooh, that's bold. How can they say that? Because you yourself secretly admire their ability to do that because you want to be so bold. You also want to speak up powerfully and have conviction behind your words. But right now, you are second guessing your words. You are playing small and you're not truly delivering the message that you know you're meant to deliver. Well, in this video, I'm going to help you conquer that fear of being seen, conquer that fear of potentially being judged, so that you can truly put your message out into this world. But I first want you to see this on a continuum because there are three phases that you're going to have to go through in order to truly attract the audience and gain the influence with your message. So, where you are right now is very likely in phase one, between phase one and phase two. But phase one is having expert knowledge. Right now, you have degree knowledge or life experience knowledge where you've been through something, you've conquered something, and you've got a knowledge base around that. And so you are likely creating content right now just from a knowledge source where you might sound kind of like a textbook or like you're giving a lecture to people because it's your knowledge that you are speaking from. And so there might not be a lot of emotion or connection in the content that you are creating because it's all based on knowledge. Now, the second phase of this is gaining attention. Now, some of you might be in this attention phase where you're starting to understand that there are some things that your audience needs to hear in order to help them build trust with you. And so you're starting to show up a little bit more with your personality, share a little bit more of your life experience, and learn some principles and concepts of storytelling. So you are starting to attract and gain attention. Now, having attention is not the same thing as having influence. When you have attention, it just means someone has their eyes on you. Having influence, however, means that you have impacted someone's behavior. You have made them see something in a new perspective or in a new light. And so right now you've got expert knowledge and gaining attention, and you might be falling into some trendy things online, maybe doing some things that you probably wouldn't do, but you're like, ooh, that looks trendy. Other people are doing that. So you find yourself doing things other people are doing, but now you're looking like and feeling like other people online. And so there's a part of you that feels disconnected from the kind of content that you're making. And you're like, I know people are paying attention to me, but this is where people are paying attention, but they're not buying from you. They might be telling you right now that you are motivational or you are inspirational, but they're not quite yet seeing you as the expert that you are. And you might still be falling into this lecture style, textbook style types of content that you are putting out. So we've got expert knowledge, and then we move up the chain into gaining attention, and people tend to ping pong back and forth. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't make sales if you're at either of these phases. You can make sales, but the sales are very likely going to be far and few. And you might not quite understand why even some of those sales are coming in, but they are. So be grateful for them. But now I'm going to help you move into gaining influence. And gaining influence is where you are able to change the behavior of your audience. And so through your content now, not only are you sharing your knowledge, but your knowledge is strategically positioned and wrapped up in a way that your audience can say, ooh, that person can help me. It's not just a matter of how smart you are and how much you know. You've been able to now take what you know and wrap it up in a way that they can now say, this person can help me. It's almost like if you want a child to eat a carrot, you wrap it in chocolate because they can't see on the inside that it is really a carrot. And so that's kind of how you want to treat your knowledge, where you have wrapped it in a packaging that it's easily digestible, that someone can say, oh, yes, you can help me. But when we have expert knowledge and we're kind of teeter-tottering between expert knowledge and gaining attention, we're still making this very much about you. You're still making this content about how much you're able to be seen, how smart you want people to see you as. But when you're actually gaining influence, you care about your audience. You are showing up from a place of service, which means you have now taken the time to turn your knowledge into a solution. You've taken the time to craft a process and understand, how does my audience think? How does my audience see their current problem? What are things that my audience has already tried to solve their problem that hasn't worked? And now you can take your knowledge and help them see their problem differently, that now they're like, ooh, I can change my behavior. And now they want to change their behavior with you because you have brought light to their situation in a way that they couldn't see before. And so you're already helping them through your content. And when you can help someone through your content, then they're going to want to pay you because they're like, well, if you've already helped me with your free stuff, then I can only imagine what you're going to have with your paid stuff. And so when you've helped a person with your free content, they gain an affinity to you where they see you as a resource. They see you as somebody that is truly helping them overcome whatever problem or challenge that they are going through. So much so that they feel empowered. And when you can help someone feel empowered, that there is still hope and that there's a solution and that they can finally get over this problem and conquer this challenge that they have been trying to, because they've tried so many other things and it hasn't worked, they need you. When you can help someone do that, now they're like, here's my money. They want to throw money at you because they haven't found anyone like you. So, how do you actually gain the influence? Like, what are some of the mechanisms that you need to put in place? First things first is you're going to have to embrace what makes you different. If you don't embrace what makes you different, then you sound like everyone else. Now you are looking to everyone else on the outside that is also in your industry or niche. You're looking to them for inspiration. You're looking to them for your own ideas, which means that you're just copying a copy because they probably copied someone, because most people are not genuinely embracing what makes them different. But the moment you're able to embrace what makes you different, now you stand out. Now you are gaining influence. Now people are starting to see you and resonating with you because the kind of content that you're creating now is considered connection-based content, not just textbook style or lecture style content, but you are creating connection-based content because people are attracted not to what you know, they are actually attracted to how you make them feel. So when you are genuinely sharing the part of you that makes you different, they also feel an affinity towards that because they see themselves in you in some kind of way. And so they're attracted to that on an emotional level. And so people will buy because of an emotion and then they will justify later with their logic. And so right now, if you are in the expert knowledge phase or the gaining attention phase, you're only appealing to someone on a logical level. It's almost like a professor giving you a lecture. They're not appealing to your emotions. They could care less. They're like, get this information about this anatomy or biology or whatever class. They're like, get this information in your brain. There's no connection there. But the professor that actually might share a personal story or might, give some jokes or some laughs, guess what they've done? They have now embraced what makes them different as they teach you. And now you've gained an affinity to that professor, which means you are now going to receive that information differently as you would if you learned from another professor. And so now you're thinking to yourself, ooh, I like this class. Why do you like this class? Because you like how the professor teaches. Well, it works the exact same way in content. When you embrace what makes you different, people are naturally drawn towards you. That's actually how you build confidence, is because you are just being yourself. There's no trying to put on some performance or some show to make people think something about you. And that is often why most people's content don't convert, is because they're trying to make someone believe that they're smart or make someone think something of them. But all of that is just not your actual inner authority. All of that is just some kind of performance. It's some kind of a mask. You are showing up with a representative. You're not showing up with who you are. And people can feel that through the screen. People can feel whether you're being authentic or genuine, even if they don't say this is a disingenuous person, or even if they don't say things like, I don't trust you. They might not use those words specifically, but they have a feeling where it's like, not really jiving with this person. I'm not really feeling this person. Well, that's because they can just feel that you've got a mask on and that you care more about them thinking that you're smart rather than you just showing them, hey, I've spent time solving your problem. I've gone through something like this. I've helped other people with this. I've spent time to actually package up my knowledge to present it to you in a way that you can see here. You can have your problem solved in this way. So you are essentially wrapping this carrot in with chocolate so that you can present it. So you've got to learn to embrace what makes you different. So all the parts of you right now that you have been trying to hide and you don't really want to show, those are the parts of you that you are going to publicly embrace. Now, you're not going to come out here and say, hey, everybody, like I'm embracing this part of me now, so I want you to buy. No. But what you are going to do is start to show this personality in through your content. And you're going to start to maybe say things. Let's say you do YouTube videos or you go live on Instagram or Facebook or what have you. You're doing videos. Well, are you showing your personality? Are you engaging with the audience and maybe telling a joke? And maybe your brain goes off somewhere down the rabbit hole and you're afraid to go down the rabbit hole because you don't want to be judged for what your actual thoughts are, right? And so this is where you get to say, I'm just being myself. I had a funny thought, and you might share it with your audience on the spot. You're not trying to be so scripted, so suited and booted and buttoned up because you came from a 9 to 5 professional setting. Now, this doesn't mean go out here and like look crazy. We got to look the part, especially if you're wanting to build a business where you're building trust and authority. You definitely want to look the part, but that part should be authentic to you. Don't dress to impress other people. Dress so you feel good, right? So I just want you to see that whatever parts of you that really naturally want to come through. Maybe you had a uniform at your 9 to 5 and everyone had to wear the same thing and you were wearing, heels, or you had to wear boots and skirts and whatever, or, khakis and polos, whatever it might be for you. I want you to just consider that you're probably still feeling a little stiff right now within your content. Content gets to be you. Content doesn't have to be stiff, and that's actually the whole point. You're still probably a little stiff there, okay? So allow yourself to truly embrace. Now, the other part of actually gaining influence is being willing to say what's in your head and being willing to say what's in their head. And by being willing to say the commentary that's in your head and the commentary that's in their head, now there's going to be this instant attraction. How many times do we scroll a reel on Instagram or TikTok and someone is saying commentary that's in their head and they might be observing a situation? I'm thinking about one gal specifically who kind of does these like Stitch videos, and she'll show something and she'll have commentary about it. And it's funny. And we think it's funny because we are thinking the exact same thing. She's just bold enough to say it and create content around it. Now, I'm not saying that you got to say everything. We definitely have to have like levels of context here, right? Our goal is not to hurt someone's feeling. Our goal is not to be brash or to be rude. But our goal is to say what is truly on our mind, truly in our hearts, and truly what is your audience saying? What is their commentary in their head, and speaking to that? Because here's the thing. If you're going to really speak up and be bold online, you will hurt people's feelings, but that's not your intention. Your intention isn't to be intentionally rude or intentionally harmful. But by nature of you truly speaking up and you truly saying the things that you know to be true that are going to serve a person, you might trigger some people on the other side of the screen. You might be harmful to them in their mind, but you know you're not being harmful, but they're taking it that way. That's not something you can control. But your goal isn't to intentionally like throw daggers at people with your words. No, it is though to speak the truth. It is to truly serve this person. And that comes with speaking the commentary that is in your head and in their head. And that is going to create relatability. That is going to allow them to feel close to you and connected to you. And you're wrapping all of that up into your actual knowledge base. And so this is why learning the principles of storytelling is so important, because you're going to learn how to be the expert, but also how to rope in your story, how to add in the commentary that's in your head and their head, how to truly embrace the parts of you that make you different and showcase that online. Now, the last step to gaining influence, and this is probably the most important step, is you knowing why you believe what you believe. This is so key. This is so essential. If you right now have expert knowledge where you have a degree and now you're using that to build a business, or you have a life experience that you've now used and you're helping people, and you've probably done it in a very small group, in a small setting. Like if somebody came to you right now and said, "Hey, I need help," you could probably help that person, right? But now when it comes to creating content, that's when you seem to freeze up, when it's more public. This often happens when you are not sure why you believe what you believe. Building an online business and a personal brand, putting out content, is never just about expert knowledge. It is always about the parts of you that make you different, as I said before, but it also ties in your spiritual gifts. It also just ties in your natural talent and your natural ability. And sometimes we don't know why we got that. That's something God gave us. And so it's like we don't really know why it shows up, how it shows up, when it does, but we know we can help people. I often call this intuitive genius, where it's like God just gave you the gift and you know you can really service people. But it's also rooted in not only God's truth, but it's rooted in your life experience, where you're not just teaching people theory, you're actually teaching something that actually works because you've done it, you've helped yourself, and you've helped other people. But you are now developing a belief system around why you believe what you believe. People who speak boldly online know why they believe it. If someone's going to tell you that the sky is green, they can say, you know, the sky's green. Like I promise you, they're looking out the window. I've got a window here. Yeah, the sky is green, and they might give you some proof. But you're like, I don't really believe what this person's saying. But what if somebody came up to you and said, the sky is green? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. So here's what I was doing the other day, and I was outside and I was on a picnic and da da da, and the sky's green. You're more likely to believe that person because there's a level of enthusiasm. When people can show up boldly and speak with enthusiasm around whatever subject they're speaking on, it's because they know why they believe it. When you know why you believe what you believe, it's easy for you to defend it. It's just like being a lawyer. Lawyers have to know their position and their stance with whoever they're defending. They have to know that this evidence supports what they are about to say. They know why they believe what they believe. And so it doesn't matter what the other side says, they stand on their thing. Whatever that belief is, they stand on it. So right now, if you don't know why you believe what you believe, then you're going to fall into fear. You're going to doubt what you put online. You're going to worry if someone's going to judge you or criticize you, because deep down, you don't know why you believe it. Even though you're good at helping people, even though you've helped people before, even though people come to you right now for help, even though you get referrals, but your ability to publicly speak about whatever it is your subject matter is, your ability to create the content and build connection and publicly share it, boils down to how much you truly believe it, or understanding why you believe it and where you got it from. Because if you can't defend your stance or your position online, then do you really believe it? People tell me all the time that they completely believe in energy and that energy doesn't lie. Then I've got other people that say energy isn't a thing. I don't care how many times you tell me that energy isn't a thing. I believe energy is a thing, not just because I believe it, but because there's proof of it. There's instances where you know you've walked into a room and for whatever reason, you can feel the energy shifts. I can't even say energy without saying energy. The energy shifts. Somebody has come in and has commanded some attention, and now you look. They don't even have to say anything. But someone can be standing in a room and it's like your energy's taking up a lot of space. Your energy's loud. Someone's energy might be loud. even though their voice are quiet, because you can feel that. So people who tell me that energy is not real, like, okay, I've got a lot of evidence for energy being real and not just in my own life. And so I'm okay with someone telling me that they don't believe that. I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter to me. So if someone telling you that you're wrong or that you are steering people the wrong way, if someone telling you that makes you crumble or makes you want to crawl into a hole and hide, if someone telling you that makes you want to like turn in, then it's very likely that you don't know why you believe what you believe. And that is one of the reasons why people can be so bold online, because they can back up what they're saying. Even if you don't agree, they also don't need you to agree for them to believe it. I don't need someone to agree with me about energy for me to believe it. I don't need someone to believe that God is real for me to believe it. I don't need anybody to believe anything for me to believe it. Now, I'm open if someone says, hey, I've got a different perspective. I don't know everything. If someone says, hey, I've got a new way of looking at this. I'm going to cross-reference that with, first and foremost, what's in the Bible, what's in my heart, and cross-reference, where they are coming from. I'm never too big to learn. I'm never too big to understand someone else's perspective. And so that is how we actually start to create really good, effective, connection-based content that gains influence. You embrace what makes you different. You are willing to speak the commentary in your head and the commentary that's in their head. You make the effort to position your knowledge as a solution for them. So when they read your content, it's easy for them to go, oh, yep, that person can help me. You help them see their problem differently. And then you know why you believe what you believe. That is essential. For the first time ever, you are very likely putting your real thoughts, perspectives, and ideas in a place to potentially be criticized, in a place to be judged. Whereas before, you could be in a cubicle, you could be in a treatment room, you could be with a small group offline somewhere where it doesn't feel as raw if someone calls you out. But when you put things online, it's like, we don't know who's out there in the ethers. It could be anybody. And you can get a dagger thrown at you from any which way. And so your mind is like, I don't want that. I'm going to keep me safe, so I'm not going to put any of my ideas out there. I don't want anybody throwing daggers at me. I don't want to have to defend myself. Because now you're feeling like there's like a threat out there. And so that's why creating content can feel so challenging. And this is why many get stuck in that expert knowledge phase. And then they might gain some attention, but they never truly peak with having the influence where they're truly able to have impact. In order to have impact, you have to have influence, which is the ability to change someone's behavior, to give them a different perspective, for them to go, ooh, I see that. I see that. That's really what you want. And so you've got to move up this chain. And those are the steps to do that. So discover right now where you are specifically and what elements you need to add in order to attract the audience and have the influence, which is what converts them into buyers and helps you make more money inside of your business. Drop it in the comments and let me know, where do you fall? Are you expert knowledge? Are you gaining attention? Or are you already at influence? And what elements do you now need to add in place in order to have more influence? Share this with a business bestie. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe if you have not already for more videos like this one. And I will see you all in another video. Bye for now.